This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted as always to be joined by middleweight sensation contender, hopefully soon to be world champion Jay Quigley. We are here in, I've been to Stockport, Morecambe, and we're now in Lancaster.
Yeah.
How are you, Jay?
I'm good, Rob. Everything's well. Just enjoying life at the minute for sure.
You are enjoying life. You've got that nice smile on your face that we like to see from you because you've got yourself a fight announced finally. One of the more unlucky fighters who I've had the misfortune of coming into contact with since the pandemic struck. But you've got yourself a big fight. Shane Mosley Jr. on the Haney Linares undercard. I can already see your face light up and beaming. You're very excited for this opportunity.
Yeah, it's been a difficult year for everyone. Like, you know, the whole COVID situation and fights falling through, especially for fighters. And for me, I think I had like 5 fights. Jack Cullen twice, Canelo, Munguia. This fight against Mosley was meant to be February 13th, and now that was off and changed now to May 29th in the Mandalay Bay Hotel in Las Vegas. So, look, the way that I look at things, everything happens for a reason. I'm a good lad outside the ring. I behave myself. I look after myself, my body. And, you know, I've stayed in shape all year round. Obviously, I thought I had fights coming up throughout the pandemic as well, which I suppose I can look at that as a positive, that it kept me in shape because there was always something to train for. And, yeah, I'm excited about this fight and really looking forward to it.
No, that's sort of been, I mean, a lot of fighters and unfortunately have been in similar situations over the last year due to the pandemic, fights falling out and what have you. You've got the fight now, so obviously no need to look back and be too disheartened, but going back to those fights falling through, that can't have been easy at a difficult time.
Yeah, it was, you know, it was just a matter of ups and downs. You know, like 1 minute you're, like, I was told by Golden Boy that I'm in the running for the Canelo fight. Like, you can't get a bigger high than that in the sport and in the weight that I'm at the minute. Like, that was an unbelievable, could have been an unbelievable fight for me and something that I was really excited for. But as I said, look, everything happens for a reason. It was great to be involved and know that my name is up there along with those types of contenders for the likes of Canelo, and possibly go on and be a world champion now myself in the near future and earn my full stamp at that world title and possibly at Canelo also.
Is that how you're looking at this fight against Shane Mosley Jr.? Obviously not taking anything away from him, not looking past him, but a good win against him on a big platform like the Haney Linares undercard. That's surely got to put you in the shop window for one of those big fights at 160.
Yeah, you know, I'm at a stage now in my career, like I'm 18-1, I'm 29 years of age, and this is the exciting part of my career and my life right now. You know, this is where everything that you've trained for, everything that you have dreamed of since a kid, this is when it all starts to happen now, and this is a very exciting time for me because I know what all this is about now, and I know where I can go. I know the opportunities that lie in front of me, and I'm really excited because this has got me excited. You know, this fight is going to be for the NABO middleweight title as well, which will put me right up there, and I'm really looking forward to this. This is going to be a special time, a special fight, and I'm looking forward to getting in there to performing, most importantly, not overlooking Shane Mosley Jr. whatsoever. He's a great fighter. He's got a great blueprint also in his name and everything like that. So, look, he is a great fighter, and I'm going to respect him 110%. But as I says, the stage that I'm at right now, this is my time. I'm going in there. Doesn't matter if it's Shane Mosley Jr., Canelo, unknown guys. I'm in there now, and every fight is my world title fight. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'm having fun, and I'm going to go in there and put on a great show.
Oh, you're getting the fires going in me, Jay. I like it. Aside from kind of what could come next and putting yourself in the shop window for those big fights, you mentioned there about just getting in there and performing. It's been a while since you've been in the ring. You've had those opportunities come and go, and you've had the disappointments on the way in the last year. But getting back in the ring and just getting a fight under your belt, you're a fighter at heart. That must be great for you.
Yeah, it's, as it says, like, I keep using the word exciting because because it's been so long now since I was in the ring, and it's a good time now, like, you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to getting in there and putting on a show. Like, I don't really believe in ring rust. I don't believe in these types of things because you be in there sparring all the time, and yes, it's not a fight, but it's the closest thing you're going to get to the fight. The only difference in a fight and a spar is maybe the importance or the the importance of it or the emotions that you bring towards it. And for me, as I says, like, every fight is my world title fight. This is my ladder. This is my journey that I'm on now to become a world champion. And it's kind of like a world championship again as an amateur. Like, this is maybe the quarterfinals. Next one's going to be the semi-final, and then I'm in the final for the world title. So that's kind of the way that I look at it. And every fight is important as the next fight. And I keep saying it, but I'm very excited. Cannot wait.
Now, the last time I saw you was, it was only about 14 months ago or so when I flew over to Ireland, but it feels like an eternity ago. Obviously, since I think 2 days after that is when the first lockdown happened, and everything has changed massively since. You're now not in Ireland, you're over here, you're training with Andy Lee and the guys over in Morecambe. How have you found the change? You've been enjoying it over here?
Yeah, I've been having a real good time over here. It's a little bit like sometimes a change can be as good as a rest sometimes as well. Not that I've needed a rest over the last how many months, but it's you're obviously training in the World Heavyweight King's gym, you know what I mean, in Tyson Fury, and just to be in that atmosphere, to be in that environment, it can put that extra couple of percent into a performance, into a camp, into preparation, and it makes things that little bit more exciting as well with being in that surrounding. And training with the lads has just been unbelievable. Big Joseph-Parker has recently joined the stable, a great addition, top class operator inside and outside the ring, Joseph. And we're getting on really, really well. We're training here as well with Isaac Lowe at the minute in the gym, and it's great fun. We're working our asses off. We're training as hard as possible, but we're always smiling at the end of it. It mightn't be a smile as in, oh, that was fun. It was like, gee, how do we get through that? So it's a good environment that we're in right now, and Andy is obviously, a great coach, a great mentor. Been there, done it, knows what the ups, the downs, knows how to handle situations, and we have a great stable going there now, and I'm enjoying the good weather, especially over here in Morecambe. I'm in Lancaster, the it's only 2 minutes away, but I'm enjoying everything over here, and it's good to be out of the house, your own house in a way, and doing a bit of travelling again also.
Yeah, I said that to Joseph Parker. I said, you brought the weather with you. I think I've seen Joe a lot in Vegas in the last few years, and I've never seen him as tanned as when he's living in Morecambe, which was a real surprise to me. Going back and talking about Andy now, all right, time-wise, you've been together for a little bit of time now, but still fight-wise, you're still relatively inexperienced as trainer and fighter. How, you mentioned about not having a rest in the period of time that you've been working in the gym, but how beneficial is that added time working with him in the gym ahead of your comeback fight?
As it says, look, we can look at everything in different ways, and I look at things in a very positive light, that it has given me that extra time to work with Andy. It has given me that extra time to tweak the things that we have been working on, and to make myself that extra couple of percent more of an elite fighter than I am. And it has been a really positive situation to be able to have that time to just strip things back and to work on the specific things, instead of having a fight coming up and having to get into camp and do this, do that, do everything. We've had the time to be able to just chill, but at the same time work on the specific things that we have to work on. And it's been great. It's been, we've had 2 fights already, 2 wins, 2 knockouts, and why not keep that roll going now for the third one?
I'm sure he'll agree with that. We've mentioned kind of the guys who are here. I mean, admittedly, Tyson is now over in Las Vegas working with Jorge Capetillo. One person who isn't here, who we're used to seeing associated with yourself and Andy, Paddy Real Deal Donovan, 5-0 welterweight star of the future. I'm sure our viewers will be very familiar with him. If you're not, please go check out his fights.
100%.
How is Paddy? Looked very good in his last fight against CR Osgood.
Yeah, Osgood was a tough operator. He's known to be a tough operator. Went the distance with Postal, and Paddy done a job on him and looked impressive doing it. And that's great for Paddy because he is a talented fighter and can go all the way. And he just needs to keep doing what he's doing, keep working hard, keep pushing each other in the gym, and the future is very bright for Paddy.
You mentioned yourself there about having Tyson in the gym, having Joseph Parker in the gym, obviously an ex-world heavyweight champion himself. I've just come from Andy Lee and Joseph Parker, and Andy said that having that added experience and that added pedigree in the gym is massively beneficial to Paddy at this stage of his career. But I'm assuming that also works for you at this stage of your career, having that kind of additional pedigree. World champions, it's a cliche, but it's true. Iron sharpens iron. Yeah. Must be great to have those guys in the gym to pick their brain.
Yeah, without a doubt, these lads have been where I want to get to, and just being around them, and I suppose I did realise this pretty much early on in my career as well, being around world champions in LA and over in Sheffield as well. They don't do much different than what we do, and I think that was something that I learned early on in my professional career. There was nothing special, there was nothing different that they really did. They all worked hard, of course, but just being around world champions and seeing that they eat, they go to the toilet, they watch Netflix, they chill, they get bored sometimes, just to know that these people are human as well, because as a young amateur turning over into professional, you can put world champions on such a high pedestal. I'm not saying that they're not, but you can think that they're just superhuman, and some of them you still might think they're superhuman, but just to know that these people are the exact same as us, they train just as hard as us. Sometimes you might even train harder yourself. Every individual is different, and to be around them is just a pleasure, because you're always looking at them, seeing what they're doing, feeding off them, picking their brain, as you said, and it's a great environment to be around. Like you said as well, iron sharpens iron, and I think that is a very, very true statement, and especially now when you have the friendship that you have in the gym too, it just blossoms. The whole stable starts to blossom because everyone's getting on with each other, but yet you compete with each other sometimes, but in a good, friendly way. It was in the amateur days as well, in the Irish team. We were all a team, but we all wanted to do better than one another, and you would slag each other if you did better or you didn't do better, and it's a great environment, and I'm really pleased to be around such great fighters, and hopefully that I can be one of those world champions that young professionals look up to as well someday.
Right, before I let you go, we've spoken about Joseph Parker. Of course, he's linked up with Andy Lee ahead of his bout with Derek Chisora. Really interesting fight in its own way, with Derek kind of coming in with 10 losses. The pressure's kind of off him for this one, whereas Joe obviously has lofty ambitions of regaining a portion of the WBO, or a portion of the heavyweight crown. Not sure how Tyson feels about that, but we'll carry on. They're very good friends, of course. How do you see that fight going, Joseph Parker versus Derek Chisora?
I think it's a very black and white fight in terms of people looking in. Derek Chisora is the roughhouse that likes to come forward and throw big bombs, and you have Joseph Parker, who is a very skillful fighter, fast, likes to move, and can land some heavy shots as well when he wants to. So it's about both men sticking to their game plan, who can pull off their game plan to the best of their ability and do it and come out on top. And I truly believe, not just because I've sparked up a great relationship with Joseph, but as a friend, as a stablemate, but as a boxing fan as well, I'm looking at Joseph thinking that he can go in there and do the business, outbox Chisora, look good doing it, and push on to become a world champion once again.
That's one of the heavyweight stablemates. The other one, he's got himself a big fight potentially happening. Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. I don't think we can go 10 minutes before an update or another news story or something comes out to set social media on fire about that fight. First of all, what a fantastic fight it would be. Second of all, how does that fight go?
This is an unbelievable fight. It has to happen, and I honestly do believe it will. When and where, we're still unsure, but I definitely do think that this fight will happen because it needs to happen. And I'm going to be truthfully honest with this fight. Whenever Tyson went off the rails and, went way overweight, wasn't looking after himself, and he came back into boxing, I honestly didn't really give him a chance against Joshua because I was just looking at it black and white. I was looking at Joshua, unbelievable physique, really looks after himself, does things right, and Tyson done the complete opposite for a while, and it was just night and day in the two of them, physically, looking at it. But now, when I see Tyson, since he's come back, his mindset, his attitude, I honestly do believe that he can beat Anthony Joshua come fight night, and I do believe and think that he will beat Anthony Joshua. Tyson can do stuff that no other heavyweight has ever done. Like, when you look back, the closest thing is Muhammad Ali. Like, the way that Tyson moves around the ring, the way that he throws his shots, the way that he is outside the ring, Tyson is so much going from, so much likability, so much character. But when he gets into the ring, he's got hand speed, he's got movement, he's got flexibility for such a big man. There's no heavyweight out there at the minute like him. And he carries a lot of power, which he's been showing, and which I'm sure Andy and Sugar Hill has been working on, and we can see that now. A man of that size and that weight obviously has power, and now he's starting to use it to his full potential and his full ability. And, I really like both fighters. Anthony Joshua is great for the sport. Tyson Fury is great for the sport. But when it comes down to it, I do have to favour Tyson Fury in that fight.
You mentioned there about kind of the work that's been done with Andy and Sugar Hill in the gym. Now, one of the things that Andy said to me today is that, strip away all of the gregarious nature of Tyson and the fact that he's such a showman, and he likes to use people like me and in the media and have us on strings and tell us what he wants us to hear. But one thing is for certain, certainly from Andy's point of view, is how hard he works in the gym. And when you're the heavyweight champion of the world, unbeaten lineal Ring Magazine champion, to see somebody who's achieved so much in the sport still put the work in, still work so hard as he does in the gym, it has to be such an inspiration for people like yourself.
Like, Tyson hasn't just been an inspiration for professional fighters and people doing a sport. Tyson has been an inspiration for people with mental health, people that are overweight, people that are unhealthy. Like, Tyson has really changed his life and proved to other people that you can do it as well, because Tyson was an extreme in one way and has completely flipped things over and changed his whole life around and has been very open about it. And, I can't say I don't know Tyson personally. I've been around him. I met him for the first time in LA at a press conference for Wilder. And it was the first time I met him, and I was like, he's such a cool sound person. Like, because it was away from you big bum dosser and all this, and I know that Tyson plays all these games, but I personally didn't know him. Like, I wasn't sure, is this a game or is this really him, because I never met him behind the cameras or away from the spotlight and things like this. But I have to say, the first time that I met him in LA, he just seemed like an absolute gentleman. And, if boxing was a computer game or a game like PlayStation game or arcade game, whatever, Tyson's playing it perfectly. He really is. And a man that has done what he's done in his career, going from a massive height to a massive low, coming back to an even bigger height than he was at, it's unbelievable. It's an inspiration, and he's a credit to himself, his family, the people around him, and you know, I really do wish him all the very best in life, and because he does good things with the things that he's got, and I think that that's a true character of a person.
Very well said. Before I let you go, we've mentioned Canelo Alvarez's name. You know where I'm going with this. He's got a big fight on May the 8th against Billy Joe Saunders. Big fight. Billy Joe Saunders has been calling for that fight for a long time. We were supposed to get it last year. We didn't. We've now got it. What do you make of that fight?
Another very interesting fight. It's a black and white fight as well. When anybody looks at it, Canelo, strong, come forward fighter. Billy Joe, a lot of skills, a lot of talent, can outbox, can move, footwork, hand speed, has it all. When Billy Joe Saunders beat David Lemieux, if he had fought Canelo then, I believe he had a massive chance of winning. I think Billy Joe has maybe not set aside on his own intent, but has been shelved a little bit, and hasn't really fought at an elite level, a world champion elite level. Yes, he boxed Martin Murray. Murray, I think, was well past his best when he boxed him. You know, he had a fight out in America, and he had a fight, I think, in a football stadium here as well. Yeah, you know, and like, these guys are good fighters, but they're nowhere near the likes of Triple G's, Jacobs, the guys that Canelo's fighting. And I know Yildirim and stuff like that wasn't a massive fight, but still, I just think that Canelo is the man on form. I think that Canelo will go in there and win. But if there is any man out there at the minute that can turn it up, and Billy is the type of fighter that he needs a Canelo to make him bring out the best of himself. I am favouring Canelo. I do think Canelo will win. How? I'm not too sure. But if there's a man to upset the card, I think that Billy Joe is very capable of doing that, because of that's what he needs. He needs elite, top-class fighters to bring the best out in him. We haven't seen that recently because of the fighters that he's been fighting. Is it still in him? Does he still have it? These are all the questions that's going around in my head, and I'm sure a lot of other people's head. But because of those reasons, I have to go with Canelo, and I believe that Canelo will beat Billy Joe Saunders.
It's a good breakdown. I like that. Okay, well, Jay, real pleasure to see you. It's been a long time, and it's felt like a really long time because of everything that's happened since then. But lovely to see you looking so well. I'm really pleased that you've got yourself a big fight on the Haney Linares undercard. Before I let you go, please tell fans who will be watching and tuning in on the 29th of May how the fight goes. Jay Quigley versus Shane Mosley Jr. on the Haney Linares undercard.
If I had a mic, Quigley won. Boom. Quigley won. May 29th, Mandalay Bay, Hotel Las Vegas against Shane Mosley. Quigley becomes the winner.
So I'll pick it up now. Boom. Jay Quigley, always a real pleasure. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Look forward to catching up with you soon.
Thanks for having me, lads. Appreciate it.